This conference will now be recorded.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everybody. This is the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting. We're in Osage. It's February 7th, 2023. We're at the courthouse in Osage, and the meeting is also available by GoToMeeting. We have an agenda in front of us. We want to make it just a clarification on the agenda. Item 11 says approve 2023 Mitchell County dues and or contributions. It's in your packet too. It's primarily just with the NIACOG stuff. I mean, if we chose to approve everything, we could do it, but it's mostly geared just for that NIACOG item. So it's not really, there doesn't really need to be a change in the agenda, but I just want to clarify that that's with the intent. So, okay. So any other comments about the agenda or corrections needed? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion for that.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Brian makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Minor seconds. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, approve the minutes of the January 31st meeting and the claims. Everybody had time to look at the minutes. Any corrections needed?
Make a motion to approve the January 31st meeting and claims.
Anderson makes a motion. Is there a second?
I second that.
Meyer seconds. Any further discussion?
I see there was one on that Casper Plumbing.
Yeah.
And you had that it's not part of the American Rescue.
I called the sheriff and he talked with Dave, and it's a pump that's an existing pump that was leaking. Is that correct, Sheriff?
That is correct, yes, general maintenance thing, the pump started leaking. I tried to get it under but now it's general maintenance, my responsibility.
So they were just happened to be there to help, or instead of calling somebody else, we use them probably.
You know, I'm not sure who did the repair on it, well, obviously Casper did it, so they must have been something that Dave lined up.
Yep.
But
Sure.
when I got the bill, I thought, yeah, maybe this is under but
Sure.
Dave said no, so.
Okay, nope, that's all I have.
All right. So that was further discussion. Any more discussion? Hearing none?
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
Sydney. Mike.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye. County attorney isn't here at the moment. Sheriff, you want to give us an update?
Sure, not too much this morning, mostly on jail inmates. We had inmate picked up by INS this morning. He was arrested over the weekend, so they wanted her, they came and got her. US Marshals were here yesterday for an inmate that they had interest in. And we have an inmate currently in Martin County, Minnesota, which is on Interstate 90 west of Albert Lee, on a $50,000 bond drug warrant. So we'll have to go get him at some point. But there's a process, they need to waive extradition, so it takes a few days, or if they have their own charges, they'll satisfy those before they'll release him to Iowa. So we'll go to Martin County eventually and get him picked up. So the jail's staying busy that way. I don't really have anything more for you. The budget's pretty squared away. I mean, starting to see the impact of the inflation, but we're still okay. The new pickup scheduled mid-February to get upfitted. We'll get that out on the road as soon as we can. Then there'll be some tear down costs on the old one, and then we can decide if county needs it, has a use for it, or you guys want to put it up for sale.
Yeah. So
that's a few months down the road. March, April-ish, probably that would be available. So something to look towards the future on that. So that's really all I have, unless you have questions for me.
Did you get your position filled?
We did, yes,
Okay.
yeah. Promoted a part-time lady that did a good job and deserved a shot at full-time, so that position's been filled. Yeah.
Now you're looking for a part-time probably.
Always looking for PRN. Always looking, yeah.
Okay.
As soon as you take a PRN and
Yeah.
move them up, then that is open, so. And that's a continual cycle, because like I've said in the past, part-time jobs don't pay the bills, full-time bills, don't pay a mortgage. grocery bills, raise kids. So it's hard to find those people that, one, will work for, a part-time gig, but then you throw in nights, holidays, and weekends, and then a jail environment. So there's some obstacles there that we gotta overcome. But we got one very good application for a PRN position. Gonna interview her on Friday, and we'll see where it goes from there. So, okay.
Good.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Department head discussion. Anything from anybody here or online?
So we got the ballots, approved yesterday for the Riceville special election. They hopefully will receive them by the end of this week, and then anyone wanting to vote can come to our counter, up until February 27th, so. That's all I got.
So the voting, is that your counter? That's-
I like the absentee voting.
Okay.
If people want it mailed, it has to be the request has to be in our office by 5 PM on Monday. And then after that, they can just come to the counter.
How many candidates are there?
There are 3, and in the order that it appears on the ballot, it will be Brian Sigler, Lynn Doan, and Dylan Cummings. And so we draw for those for anyone that, hopefully we have good turnout.
Yeah. And they pay for this, correct? And ultimately,
Correct.
Riceville lives.
Yep, so, I mean, it takes away kind of one of our days, but otherwise they pay for the ballots, and we aren't gonna use the tabulators. So that should save them some money, so we'll have to do a hand count at the end of the night. So they pay for the ballots and then the precinct election officials. So what we'll end up doing is you'll see the bills from us where we pay the vendor and the precinct officials, and then they'll reimburse us a check.
Any other department head discussion? Anybody? Okay, I've got a question. This is my oath of office. And it was stapled in the packet of something we're gonna discuss today. I was wondering who wanted this in the packet. Who requested the oath of office to be in the packet?
I suggested it because somebody indicated they didn't want to be involved, so.
Okay,
So we might hear-
so just how I interpret that is that one of 2 ways. One would be that people are having a question as far as how I'm fulfilling my oath of office, and if I'm
No,
having.
that wasn't a question.
Excuse me, you don't interrupt, no, I'll let you talk. I let you talk, now I'm gonna talk, and you can reply, that's fine. So it raises questions if people think that I'm fulfilling my oath of office correctly or incorrectly. And if that's the case, then, and I'm assuming everybody got it. So the oath of office, you have yours, okay. So if somebody has a question with my abilities here, or anybody's that is doing this, they need to contact the county attorney because he is the individual that can tell me that I need to do something correctly. That's the one side of it, that's the implication of it. The other side of it is that it's an implying that it's stapled to this packet that we're gonna discuss. It gives me the impression that I need to think a certain way in the discussion of that in order to be approved by somebody that's sitting in this board. And I don't care for that. We went through that with the Conservation Board replacement people, the Board of Health replacement people. It kind of sends a signal that you can be on those boards if you think the way I want you to think. And that's the impression I got with that also. It's that I'm watching you, make sure that you do what I want you to do. Otherwise, I have a problem with you fulfilling your oath of office. And I don't like that. So I don't think that needed to be in here. I take my oath of office very seriously. If there's a problem, then the county attorney needs to let me know that. Okay, I'm done.
Fine, maybe it was a bad idea, but somebody indicated they didn't want to get involved, so I thought, well, if somebody don't want to get involved, they shouldn't be in this position. I ain't saying it was you.
Okay, I wanted to give my thoughts on that.
So I have mine and, do you have yours?
Yeah, I got one. Everybody's got one. Rachel put one, everybody's got it.
I came in Sunday and looked at that, and I'm just gonna tell you, I feel like that was a threat.
Fine, take it out then, I don't know.
It's too late now.
Oh, okay, well, fine.
I mean, I really do. I think, I was a little upset and like,
I was
What's
going
this
upset
all
when somebody
about?
says they don't want to get involved. I mean, it's all county business, you have to be involved, you're part of it. So,
I just, it was a threat, and I don't really like that. I don't appreciate that. I've never threatened anybody on this board or previous board, and it's just the way I felt. Well, we'll discuss later.
Any other department head discussion? Okay, county engineer update.
Not a whole lot of updates. The 2080 agreement I brought to you last week, that same morning after you guys approved it, I sent an email saying we might need to change some things. So I don't know, they changed, and go figure, I forgot to grab the stuff on the printer. They removed, in the original contract you guys signed, there was an engineering professional services agreement that the DOT has with HDR. They removed that agreement number, which I don't think it really matters in the agreement. And then they added some, they added a severability clause, or servability clause, a non-discrimination clause into the document. And that's the only thing that changes. And so I don't know if we should bring it back to the board to reevaluate for next week, or because you guys signed the agreement and really nothing in the agreement's changed as far as we're committing ourselves to paying the fees for HDR for the grant. We're gonna finance our own project. I don't know what you guys wanna do and what the best thing to do is, but we can bring it back next week. I still think we have time. They sent the revised document out late on Thursday, and I don't know I can't remember when the agenda went out, but you like them usually before then, so I didn't even try to put it on today's agenda. So we can definitely bring it back next week, or I don't know if you guys can, with the changes that are in there, because I guess it's not, you pre-approved it, they made some changes. I don't know if your approval from last week still is binding or not. I don't know what your guys, all I have to do is send back the signature page from last week, or if we do something next week, to send it back then.
So if we do it next week, it's still.
I think we've got plenty of time to do it. It's, a lot of this 2080 agreement was kind of, we started the work before the agreement was ever done, because we all had this premonition that we were gonna commit to these funds to do this work, to do this grant anyway. So, well, maybe the best thing to do is to put it on agenda for next week with the changes.
If you wanted to do like a video call tomorrow, you just need to post it for 24 hours and get it approved right away.
Well, I don't, really, there's probably not a rush. They just need the signature page before. So why don't we, I'll give you, this is the original one for next week then.
Yep.
We can put it on for next week, and then we'll just, that way,
You're good with that.
I think so. I just didn't know if there was a way to just do it now, and all I would do is just photocopy or send the original signature pages back to the committee today, but I'll wait. I don't think it's gonna be that big of an issue, so. But they're big, they were in a rush to get these agreements out last week, and then things fell through with their documents, so. I think what they did is they sent it out thinking everything was okay, and then they had to send it to the AG for a review, and there were some things in it that they thought should be included and thought they should have taken out, so. I don't know that it didn't change much on our commitment to doing the projects, but maybe it's best if we just do it the right way and do it next week. I think we'll be okay. So, secondly, we have indication of another grant opportunity coming through, and this one's for paving. And they want information by Monday. And so I'll put everything on hold again in my office so I can find a project that I think might be a great candidate for the new notice of funding opportunities for the county. I don't know much about. I haven't been able to read what they're telling us yet. There's a 35 questionnaire form to fill out on a project that I have some ideas on what we want to do. I just need to organize the program a little bit so I can figure out what we want to do. It has a lot to do with farm to market extensions in town, which we don't have very many of those. It also has to do with safe routes to school, I believe, ADA compliance, and
ADA,
the sidewalks
Sidewalks.
and ramps and things like that. It almost seems like a candidate would be maybe the city of Stacyville. We manage the farm to market route through town. We've got 2 legs that go out east and west, plus the north-south. The only issue is there's a lot of city infrastructure underneath those roads. And I don't want to rush into, yeah, let's go get this done. And then years later, we're digging up new roads because the infrastructure isn't up to date. So between now and Monday, I'm going to try to contact the city and see if they, and we don't have to. I was thinking of adding in the program, we've got Monument from the 7 Mile Curve up to Stacyville. I was thinking maybe we could extend it all the way through town again, but that, I don't know how much of the grant will cover any extension out of town. And I know that the road coming in from the west in town is pretty rough. Going west out of town, we've got some shallow utilities as far as culverts and things. There'll be a lot of engineering going on just because you're in town with ADA ramps, curb and gutter, and everything else alike. But I'll do my best to find a candidate, a project that we think we can really get some money for, because I don't know where else we're gonna find money. And if we need to, I mean, I think it's a good update for the city. It's a good update for our roads. And then we'll see what we can do outside of town later. But I'll be, not to mention to do it for this county, but also Worth County. So I'm just gonna put my earbuds in and forget about people. So try to get something into the system that we can try to get some funding for. We're lucky enough to get a bridge in this last round. Hopefully they award it to us and we can get some other stuff fixed without a lot of our own local money. So
does this seem to be the trend for grants? I mean,
it's going to be. I think it's going to be, because everything that they gave us this whole funding bill, and a lot of it, yeah, there's some that go into the formulas and increase some of the revenues that come into the county, but a lot of the revenues are almost grant type, where you compete with everybody else in the country. Each state gets their own kind of a pile of money, but I think a lot of these are going to be competitive grants. I think they do that because I think sometimes, I can't be positive, but I think sometimes when they do these transportation bills, they've got big dollar earmark projects that they want in there, and then they'll just kind of throw us some crumbs. I'm only saying that because I'm sometimes skeptical of how the government gives out money, or I shouldn't say gives out money, but awards money for projects. But we're going to do what we can to try to get brought in. I know that I think Winnebago County got granted about $2 million for SS4A grant. It's I can't remember what it was, for all safe. I can't remember what the acronym stands for. We're an acronym society, but it's safe something for all. So they got awarded a grant. I don't know. I think that went through the committee, but I'm not positive. But we'll see if we can rustle up another project, trying to get some free money with. I'm sure there'll be a match to go with it, but we'll do what we can. Hopefully.
Probably be next year.
The project itself, they haven't given us, like the bridge project, they had said the expenditures, the money needs to be spent by fiscal year 27. This one might have the same thing. So a project I may have had planned, I might be able to push back so we have more time to plan, but we'll see how the notice of funding opportunity reads. They haven't officially sent the NOFO out yet, but as the County Engineers Association, we're trying to get ahead of the game because there's so much work involved in trying to get this stuff. And we don't program things because, or I don't always program things because I know the money's not there. but I know what we can look at to get funding when funding becomes available. They like to look at things and say, if you're gonna actually do these projects, you shouldn't program, but why program stuff that you can't afford to do? We do a lot of maintenance. So I'm gonna try to create a project where it benefits everything. So we'll see where it comes out, but there's no guarantee we'll get selected either, but we gotta try.
Is there a limit on the grant or?
Each county can only apply or only submit one project. I don't know if there's a maximum dollar amount. I don't know what, I haven't gotten a chance to. This happened when I was down in Des Moines. We had our normal, we didn't have a normal grant meeting. We had one within the Service Bureau, between the 9 counties that are applying for the grant. We had a meeting. After that meeting, there was another grant meeting for what I'm telling you about now. I happened to sit in on that. I'm not on the committee, so I didn't make any comment, but I was listening to what they have going on, and there's a lot of check blocks to mark off to see if we can qualify. The more blocks we can check off, the better the opportunity is for us, but we've got to find those projects. It seems it's more of a, I don't want to say an urban type grant, because I still think it's, if you have a project where you've got bike trails to add to paving, if you want to do a bike trail on the side or something, we don't have any plan like that. We don't have really any established bike routes to do that with. And then to try to say that we're going to, if we got something safety wise, if we have a road where safety is an issue, we can probably try to design some safety aspects. And we got pretty safe roads throughout the county when you start looking at accident counts and everything else. So that being said, we'll try to put something together and try to get it submitted to the committee on Monday.
Just off the top of my head, and that Orchard Road by the Trout Stream, there's quite a few families that live there. Some people have talked to me about with the Trout Stream and that narrow bridge, they'd like to see a, walking trail or a bike trail, just food for thought, and that road is getting kind of rough, but I don't want to take away from Stacyville either.
Right, you're right. Keep in mind that as a local route, it's not a farm market route that I remember. I think is that March. Okay. That's local. I don't know that we'll be able to expend the funds on a local route. A lot of times, especially when they want a farm to market extension. So I don't think they're going to let us spend federal dollars on local roads. But I mean, yeah, there's always that possibility of having a need there for something like that. Yeah, it's a narrow bridge, it's a tight curve, and the road is deteriorating. So yeah, plenty of places to spend money. If we can find something that fits the bill, that would be awesome.
To kind of talk what Todd just said too, just a little bit, and a little different way of thinking of it. I don't know, if the DOT's gonna do 218 north of town sometime.
I was in one of the sessions to hear what they had for plans, and then I was pulled out of a session for county business, so I didn't get to hear all of what they had planned. I wanted to, because I wanted to kind of coordinate with what District 2 DOT has. It's something new they did this year at the conference, was they bring the DOT districts in and they let the paving association and the counties that go to that, a lot of counties go to that same meeting, and we get to hear what they have planned. And it helps us if we know there's a contractor in the area that's going to do asphalt per se. We can probably try to do a better job of planning when they've got another contractor in here, and then you've got a lot of volume of the same product getting put down, and maybe there's economies of scale when you start thinking, well, the DOT is going to do 5 miles. What if we have 5 miles? They don't have to mobilize as many times, things like that. I didn't get to hear that session. I was pulled out for county business. But it is my understanding they are going to be doing something north out of Osage. I talked to the engineer, Nick Humphrey from the DOT after his session, and he did mention, I just don't remember what year he said it was going to be, but there are plans to surface north of town.
So if they're going to do that, they're big on bike trails anymore. they knew a possibility of a bike trail from Osage to Stacyville on the side of the road.
Mhm.
And then if they knew that we were interested in one on Monument,
Oh, sure.
we knew that they were interested in possibly doing something like that at 218. And you have somebody talk about this grant money, that
Oh, sure.
they're favorable to that kind of stuff. That's just
I think,
thinking, but
I like the idea. I think it's hard pressed to get the DOT to put a bike trail next to the major highway like that, but that's not the same circumstance. And a lot of times, some people who are avid bikers, while they choose not to ride bikes along a major highway will, if they've got a wide enough shoulder. And if it just, even if, I don't know what they plan on doing to 218 north of town. And I think it was just actually in the city limits of Osage where they're planning, because it's so rough in town. I don't know if they were extending further out. Like I said, I didn't get the chance to listen to his presentation. I asked him to email me his stuff, so hopefully I'll see it sometime soon, but I didn't get a chance to hear his. So,
right.
I think that's all I've got for you this morning. The blades are out. They're trying to scrape up any icy curves, intersections, and the gravel's trying to push any snow back that can move. So just kind of doing some regular maintenance today.
Any questions for the engineer?
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron, we have 5 minutes until a public hearing, and we skipped over you for our county attorney discussion. 5 minutes do it, or are you want us to move on to something else?
Just go ahead and move on.
We'll do that. Okay. We can go to budget discussion, maybe we might have to stop it, but Rachel, do you have any updates as far as when anything's been happening, or?
They will discuss it, so I don't know their exact terminology, meets and something tomorrow.
Okay.
Um,
I was at a city council meeting last night. Kathy Penny said that they were discussing their budget too, and she said that in the legislature, somebody made a motion that they wanted the bill to have the state backfill the impact that this is gonna have on the counties. I have no idea where that's gonna go.
That got denied.
Okay,
The amendment did, and then they passed an amendment. It was a Dubuque senator that proposed that. And then that got shut down. Potawatomi senator proposed to give us until April 30th, and they give us 15 days instead of 10 days. And they passed the Senate file with that amendment.
okay. She also said that the governor wants to be able to sign this by Friday. So, I guess, I had some other thoughts that I was gonna discuss, but I think I'm just gonna wait because we don't know what they're gonna do, so always they'd just be jumping around, so I think I'm gonna wait with what I had planned. But, any other thoughts on the budget? Anybody?
I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to keep talking about that because it's a big deal, so. We got 2 minutes. Can we approve the rock?
You can do the recorder's office.
Oh, I didn't know she was gonna be down here.
No, so she found someone, as a full-time 30, can start on 2/16 at $18.50 per hour. And that's currently what's in her budget.
Okay. So any discussion or a motion to approve that?
Make a motion to approve the new hire for the recorder's office.
Henriksen makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brian seconds. Any further discussion?
When would she be able to start?
2/16.
Any other discussion? Hearing none?
Roll call, Mark.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney. Jim.
Aye.
Travis.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. We've got 2 minutes.
I got 9 o'clock.
You got 9 o'clock?
Yep.
Oh, I do too. That's so slow. All right. So it's 9 o'clock. We'll open the public hearing to amend the fiscal year 22-23 county budget. Has the auditor or the board received any oral or written comments?
None. I had none.
None.
Okay, I had none. All right. Any comments from the public in presence? Okay. Hearing none. Any discussion from the board? All right. So I will close the public hearing at, well, let's say 9:01. Yeah, let's say 9:01. Okay, public hearing is closed. So item 8, approve appropriations resolution number 1152-23. Is that the correct number, Rachel?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions from the board in regards to the resolution? If not, I'll accept a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to accept 1152-23.
Meyer makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Roll call, Tom,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Cindy, Jim.
Aye. Okay. Okay, item 11, approve the 2023 Mitchell County dues or contributions. So NICOG basically, they had a mistake as far as what they did. So I'll just read the email that she, the hazmat board chose not to approve the proposed assessments increase at their January meeting. And they also discovered an error in our calculations on the NICOG dues that had to do with population figures used for appropriated areas. So what it amounts to is, if you look on your sheet in red, the top one that's 4,218.95. Before, that was 4,216.10. The middle one, the 20,000 number, does not change. The bottom one was the hazmat one, which went down significantly. So what you see is an adjustment as far as what their numbers are. And then, since we approved that in a public meeting, we need to make a correction as far as approve these numbers here. So, are there any questions about that?
So what was the bottom number before?
The bottom number before was 9,085.90.
Okay.
The per capita numbers, I can give you those two as far as what they changed. The top one, the NICOG dues, that's what she was talking about as far as the population, and the per capita stayed the same at 0.95. Again, the second one, there's no changes at anything. And the bottom one, the per capita number is now 0.81, and before it was 0.86.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing nothing, I'll accept the motion to approve it.
You just approve this contribution and not all the other contributions.
Well, I guess that's up to, if we're just approving this, we would just make the motion according to as far as the NICOG dues,
Yeah, 'cause
specify it that way.
I think so, because I don't think we want to approve all the other contributions then if we have to cut something.
I would agree with that.
So this is the same motion and same wording that's on our January meeting. This is the only thing that comes up during the contribution part, that first meeting where you make all of your appointments and stuff. That makes sense.
No, say that differently, I'm sorry.
This is literally how it reads on the agenda on that January 3rd meeting.
Okay.
When we approve these three amounts.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So we don't, nothing else gets tied in there.
Okay. I mentioned if we put this on, and I wasn't sure if I told you correctly as far as, and I didn't know if that was my mistake as far as that verbiage, but, all right. So we can state it as is for the motion.
I make a motion to approve the NICOG dues as outlined here in this document.
I'll second.
Myers made the motion, Brian has seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney.
Okay. Appoint Rock Township Clerk.
Mike Heimer was the previous clerk. This last year he ran as a trustee. Al Witt was the one that won the election. He did not want it. So kind of been looking. And Mike said that his wife Gail would at least finish this term and then decide if she would want to continue or not, which is when they turn in paperwork. So she's willing to do it, which is rather than having him go out and find someone.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve, excuse me, Gail Heimer as Rock Township Clerk?
I'll make a motion to approve Gail Heimer as Rock Township Clerk.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Roll call, Sydney.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye. So Aaron, we have item 13 scheduled at 9:30. I don't know if that's a public hearing. Is it something we can do now or do we wait till 9:30?
Now you better wait.
Okay, okay. So items of note, meetings attended. I had a Osage City Council meeting last night. We just discussed things in regards to things that need to be done to the CRC. Naturally, budget is a big item for them, for all government entities. That's kind of a big item that's going on right now. Their Osage Chamber of Commerce was in and discussed economic development within the county and their plans for this next year. They're planning a Maple View event, similar to Maple Fest, but not as big as that. So Maple View event, Maple Fest, Friday night outs, and then also the bike ride around Mitchell County. And so that it's gonna be Wayne Ski and Sports. They're gonna get them involved with it to try to make it a bigger event. And so that's some of the plans that they have. They encourage people to go to the state of Iowa website as far as Iowa economic development and look at, there was a study done as far as the impact that the economic development brings into cities, counties, the state of Iowa, the dollar amounts. She said those numbers quite quickly, so I'm not gonna quote it, but it was substantial, millions and millions of dollars as far as the positive impact in the state. So she encouraged people to go to Iowa Economic Development website and learn about that. So that's all I had. Sydney?
I had a meeting with Barb Schwarman yesterday. She took me to the Riceville School, gave me a tour, talked about the land that was bought in Mitchell County to put up apartments, possibly, and showed me the area where the hospital has their land as well. Gave me some good insight. I've never been in Riceville School, so that was kind of neat to see all the new renovations that they have done over the last 5 years. Since they've been. I went to the Supervisors statewide meeting. It was very, very educational. Like NAG was there, talked about farm bill processes, water quality, conservation. And then they also had like pipeline, talk about pipeline, drainage districts, hazardous pipeline, They had some legislative people come in and they had an open session, but they were in session, so they only had a certain amount of time for people to come in and have people ask questions. So it was kind of very fast pacing. But it was very, very good. Met some new people. It was a very good conference for the first time.
I didn't have any meetings.
None for me. For me.
Manure management plan.
We have one for McIntyre Finisher Farm, 4752 Lancer Avenue, Stacyville. Cooper Hog Site 2 LLC, 2069 Highway 218 Osage. And Cooper Cattle, 1980 410th Street, Osage.
Public comments. Anybody in the room or online? Okay, hearing none, we will take an intermission till 9:30 and then we will reconvene.
So Is this a quorum?
No. Um, Okay, we're still going, okay, so it's 9:30. Next item on the agenda is the personnel issue. I understand that a request for a closed session has been made pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, parent 1, parent I. Is that correct?
That is correct. We should shut the doors, shouldn't we?
Well,
Not-
Once
hold
we
on.
go into,
Not yet. We have to
make a
follow,
motion.
we have to follow the procedures. To get into a closed session, the motion has to be made and so forth, and then once that's approved, that all has to be an open session. Then once that's approved, then we'll do that.
So is that correct? There's been a request for a closed session?
That is
That's correct, okay. According to Iowa Code 21.5, the vote of each member on the question of holding the closed session and the reason for holding the closed session by reference to a specific exemption under this section shall be announced publicly at the open session and entered into the minutes. The exemption is Iowa Code 21.5, parent 1, parent I. Is there a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, parent 1, parent I? Is there a motion?
So is that's asking.
I'm asking if there's a
Okay.
motion for that, to go into closed session.
I make a motion to go into closed session.
Hartle makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Brian seconds it. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
roll call. Jim,
Aye.
Sydney,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay.
Paul, you need to mute the camera and turn that off. I'm getting that over. Okay, I'll wait for Aaron to get back to me.
Okay, I think the,
Okay, I have 11:23, we're coming out of closed session, back to an open meeting. Correct me, Aaron, if I'm making the wrong move here, but, so we had public comments before, and we didn't, we had it a little bit earlier, and I know there's an individual here that had some public comments that he wanted to make, so. Public
Okay,
comment.
well, not really comment, questions. Kevin Sprung live over on, southwest corner of the county there on, Balsam Avenue. I've heard, there's windmill company coming around. They wanna build a wind farm over in, kind of my area, the southwest part of the county. Hear a lot of things, wondered what, the facts were or what supervisors know about it. I've heard that they want it to be the largest windmill farm in North America, from Charles City to Lake Mills. And I'm just wondering what kind of facts were, what is going on.
I guess I know about it. They were here probably a year and a half ago. Is it Nextra Energy? Is that the company?
Say it again?
Nextra Energy, NEXTERA?
Next Era Energy.
Next Era, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Next Era, yep, I just didn't
Yep,
pronounce it.
that's who, they left a flyer on my door and I tried to call them back a couple times and they didn't answer and they haven't been back. I've heard they left packets in my neighborhood. I've heard they got people sign contracts.
Okay. They talked to me like a year and a half ago and they were looking at the area. They wondered how the north part of the county perceived the windmills. I says, some good, some bad, you know, because it's betting on, but I mean, I think they like the end county, you
More
know.
than that at this time or what's?
And then they said it'd probably be a year or so or longer before they did some research, so that's probably in visiting with landowners and stuff, so that's probably where they're at right now.
So you think they're just doing?
They're just looking into it, I think. I haven't talked to them lately, I mean, I
Trying
go
to
to
see if there is enough interest.
enough interest, that's what they're
People
after.
sign, I've told them, you know, they are, will let sign people up.
Yeah, they are doing that already. Okay, they said they were gonna talk to landowners, was their plan, and then after that, they're gonna have some community meetings, and they wondered where to have them. They said like the nature center is a good place to have them, or the CRC
They are
center.
gonna have some meetings then. too.
That's what they said, to explain the whole process. It's either gonna be solar or wind, but you're probably leaning towards windmills.
That's what.
Yeah, they do both, but I haven't heard that they've been back only from you, so.
There was a man that stopped at the auditor's office on Friday. I have his card upstairs if you want his contact information. He bought a plat book. I thought he said it was 13 counties,
Yeah, they're all listed here, Saragordo.
but he was gonna go contact homeowners and he needed to know more about like the drainage districts and tiles and stuff. But I was,
So 13?
I thought that's what he said.
Wow.
It was a large amount.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's all I really know.
Now, at this time, I've been told that they're not, it's not Cerro County. At this time.
It's on the list, but
Cerro it is?
yeah, Saragordo's on the list of.
Okay, so they're just maybe not working that county yet.
And they-
Well, it
he
says
came
16
from
turbines.
Floyd On Friday.
Yeah.
They have 16 turbines in Saragordo County right now, according to this. Hancock, they got 100, Winnebago, they got 80, then another 44, Osceola, they got 88.
And the individual told me it was gonna be from Winnebago, not a resident from Mitchell County. There's gonna be Winnebago stretched down to Worth and Mitchell, so, and I thought it said Saragordo too, but it was just a telephone conversation with them last week. But I didn't hear that many counties.
Yeah, I have their contact information too.
Okay. Any chance I could get a copy of that
Yeah, sure.
flyer from you too?
Yeah, I can copy it all.
Afterward or?
Yeah,
I wasn't aware they were actually signing contracts.
I wasn't either, so I didn't.
Was my understanding that, talked to a person, south on T38. And
I wonder if it's just wind.
if he would have, they wanted him to sign a contract and he's read the contract that said, no, I don't want anything to do with it. Got it back a couple times.
I was told that if we didn't necessarily do all of this for the last wind turbines that came into effect, and it's not that we did anything illegal, but what you learn from what happens from previous construction and stuff, the suggestions were to not just let them come and build, but to actually have an ordinance in place that stipulates that, no, you will place them how we feel that there isn't any flicker or noise involved with things. Individual also told me that you can put radar on top of the turbines so that the lights don't flash unless they detect something that's in the air, so that they're not flashing all the time. Another thing was, I can't remember all the thing, but, so I think it's in our best interest that we prepare for them. If we're going to accept them,
Yeah.
we have to prepare for them and not just say, yeah, Bill, do whatever you want.
Right, yeah. And the public needs some more information about what's going on, who's getting the benefit. I would like to know where all the electricity goes from that. You know, you drive through these areas where they got a lot of them already, and usually half of them are shut down. You know, doing anything, and I'm like, well, why do we need more if we're not using, you know, when you drive around, the ones that are out there aren't even being used. I farm, so I'm concerned about effects on my farming operation. I've been told that our GPS signal, you know, they interfere with our GPS signal. Tile, of course, they'll come in and do that kind of digging and stuff. They'll do a lot of damage to tile. Cell phone services and internet service is a problem enough in rural areas already. And the main thing is, the airplanes don't want to fly around as far as aerial applicators. I'm 100% strip till on my farming operation now. Maybe using for conservation farming. So strip till machines, they have to have that GPS to run in the fall. This is kind of where it's all going. Strip till cover crops, I used to have airplanes fly on the cover crops, have for several years in the fall. My concern is, you know, Mitchell County has made great strides on conservation farming, strip till, cover crops, no till. And that GPS is very important to that, and having those, having the area applicators apply things to our crops as needed, and the cover crop seed too. So I'm concerned. I really don't want them in my backyard. I don't want to give up some of the things that we've worked for to make Mitchell County a leader in conservation farming. So that's my concern. And of course, then, as you say, like the light flash and things like that, our standard of living, you know, or quality of life from noise and flash and things like that. So I guess I'm not a big fan of them. But we'd like to, hopefully that you guys keep the public informed here.
Yeah, we have no problem doing that. It's,
You know what's going
we were
on.
surprised, we didn't even know they signed a contract. I mean,
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I knew they
Yeah,
were here
I
and
could give you the
looking
name of the
at
guy,
it.
they come back a couple times and
And don't dispute you. I
wanted him to sign a contract, and he read the contract. I hear say again, I had heard, another party had taken their contract to a lawyer, and the lawyer threw his hand up and said, don't sign that, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all for them.
So that, hence my comment, we need to make sure if we're gonna allow that they're doing things the way Mitchell County wants them to do it, rather than just.
Well, yeah, I'm a concerned taxpayer, resident of the county, and, concern in my neighborhood was I've got within a couple, 3 miles of me, I've got 3 farms owned by 80 to 90-year-old widows. And one of the first things I did was contact their tenants to look, make sure they know what's going on. And one of them already had a packet. They'd already been there, that, you know, they drive into 80, 90-year-old on fixed income, and boy, we can, increase your income here, and they might sign before they even know what's going on. So, right in my neighborhood, I contacted, people where those were, these are my old neighbors and stuff, and want to be sure they don't get taken advantage of either. So,
And what they did on the north end of the county, they went around and they wanted people to sign wind rights to their land. Like I myself did it too. They said I won't get a windmill, and if I sign this, I'll just get so much an acre because there's windmills in my area. And it's like my neighbor said, well, I signed it because he said, well, either you're gonna sign it and get paid to look at them, or you're gonna look at them and not get paid. But anyway, but that, they ended up and never building in my area, but they want the wind rights first, and then even like you sign the wind rights, you'll get so much an acre for all your land. You don't have to let any windmills on your land, but you're still gonna get that payment every year. So it's, you gotta, it's a financial advantage to anybody in the area, but it's something everybody has to pay out for themselves, but I did sign it, I got paid for 3 or 4 years, and then all of a sudden they abandoned that project, I don't know. And then they went farther north is what they did. But, I know some farmers signed in, some didn't. Some of the airplane sprayers, people didn't sign in, I know, but some people have helicopters do it, so they didn't have a problem.
well, anyway.
That's what I know about it, just from.
Keep us in the loop and kind of be careful about what.
And I'll give you copies of this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Feel free to stop back or to contact any of us if you want in regards to any updates, so.
We can let you know too if we hear something that they're,
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
maybe I'll take
Thanks for hearing me.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Mayor makes a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Brian seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is ended. Adjourn the meeting.
I can take that up.